What's going on, Bottom Line viewers? It's Dylan. We're here for episode 4 of the Bottom Line Podcast, one of my favorite shows we've done on the channel. We're here for the 4th edition. I'm here, as always, with Mitch. Mitch, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good, bro, other than the fact that you sprung a huge topic on me 4 minutes before the show started.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. Yeah, you had time. I'm just going to say you had time. We had parallel thinking, though. We'll get into our first segment in a minute. But I'm also joined with a special guest, the resident father hawk of the channel, Kevo. Kevo, how you doing today?
I'm great. I'm representing Doug Baldwin as he retired last week. Repping Doug Baldwin.
Yes, sir. Seahawks legend Doug Baldwin, also rocking the iPhone camera. Of course, you know, we were having some issues, but we got Kevo on for episode 4. I'm very
Look at that crisp quality. I can see every little detail of Kevo. Look at that.
I think Kevo was enjoying it.
That's 8K iPhone quality right there.
That is, yes.
Don't forget, guys, smash the like button for Kevo being here. You know, he wasn't here the last 3 episodes. He's here for the 4th episode. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're all going to rank our favorite Monday Night Football games. That'll be at the end of the show. We're going to talk about the Jets firing their GM after drafting their team. Like, that's just kind of rude. We're also going to be talking about the 6-game suspension of Patrick Peterson. I know Mitch made a video about that last night, but I'll get Kevo's thoughts, my thoughts, and quick thoughts from Mitch as well. We've got some other stuff, little smaller things as well. But first off, we're going to do a video that I had planned to make a solo vid, and then Mitch had also planned to make a solo vid. So we're just going to combine it here on this one episode and then split it off into its own episode with both of our list. If you guys know, if you've been on the internet, these have been like top tier rankings of a bunch of different stuff. It can range from football to basically anything.
Types of fruit.
Yeah. I've seen YouTubers, basically everything you could possibly imagine.
Well, hopefully bottom line views in the A category at the very least. Hopefully the S.
Hopefully in there. I hope that's a thing. But yeah, there's been a whole bunch of different stuff, but we are a football channel, so we're going to do our list of football, and this list is going to do our tier rankings of quarterbacks in the NFL right now, starting quarterbacks, and there are no rookies in here because we haven't seen them play. So that's just not fair for them to do so. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share over here. Let's see. Why can I not? There we go. Share. Is this going to work for me? You can't be serious. Out of all times, it has to happen right now. Technical issues.
Figure it out, Dilly.
Oh, good Lord. You might have to start off.
That's what happens when you do spring something 4 minutes before.
Yeah, exactly, Dilly.
Me?
All right, here we go. I'm going to screen share, show them how it's done here.
Okay. Start off your list.
All right, you see it?
I can't see jack shit. Maybe Kevo can see it. Can you see it?
I can see it.
All right.
Okay, wait 1 sec. Okay, present to everyone. That's how you do it. All right. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So where should I start? The top or the bottom?
Start with the bottom. Start with the trash.
All right. We're starting with the trash. And I tried to order it as much as I possibly could. So my trash category. And by the way, they have Case Keenum in here as the starting quarterback for the Redskins. I actually think it's going to be Haskins, but side point. So trash. Eli Manning. 32nd best quarterback. He's probably even worse than that, but in terms of starters, he's the worst in the NFL. You can at me if you want, at Mitch Milani on Twitter. Case Keenum, I have just above Eli Manning because I think he plays like Eli Manning. Like, they're very similar, except he's more athletic and he's younger and he has just better arm strength. So, yeah, athletically, he's better than Eli Manning. He's a version of Eli Manning, except better. Joe Flacco, I want to see him this year. He might improve on this list as the year goes on. We'll see. Maybe he'll be taking over his job. But I was actually very impressed about what Joe Flacco said during training camp. He seems to be motivated. It's his last shot at everything, basically, at being a star, at being the number 1 quarterback in the NFL that he wants to be. So we'll see if he's motivated enough to go up in these tiers, but he's third to last right now for me. I have Josh Rosen just above him. Basically, very similar to Joe Flacco. But what I saw from him was last year when he had the time to throw, he was accurate. He put the ball on the money. He just needs time to throw, and hopefully in Miami, not a great team, but hopefully he can improve this year. Below average, I have basically all the quarterbacks that they're rather kind of just exactly what it says, below average, or they're promising and have some potential, but they're not like there yet, or they're just guys that have been very inconsistent. So at the top of the list, like the guys that I have ranked above, Derek Carr is like the closest to being average because we've seen him be like really good before, but he hasn't been that for a couple of seasons. So he's still stuck in this category. But maybe this year with the weapons he has at his disposal, he can climb these charts. Jameis Winston, I like personally in terms of his physical attributes, and he's even put up a great stats in years past. He just is very inconsistent in terms of decision-making, so he goes on the below average list. Andy Dalton is Andy Dalton. I don't really need to say much there. Marcus Mariota, a lot of turnovers, not a lot of touchdowns. It's simple as that. Sam Darnold and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's the closest to being on the trash list, even though I wouldn't put him there, just because he doesn't really throw the ball. I mean, I need to see this guy throw the ball. He's an NFL quarterback. Sam Darnold, he has potential as well as Lamar Jackson to go higher on this list, but that's where they're at right now, if I had to say from right now. Then we go to average. Nick Foles is at the top of the list, the closest to being above average, because we've seen him win the Super Bowl. We've seen him in the playoffs play well. We've seen him lead a team. Even though that was Philadelphia, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt at this point in time. Jimmy Garoppolo is kind of has the potential to be a good quarterback in this league. We've seen him do some good things overall in his time, and I think he just has more potential than some of the guys in the below average like Darnold and Lamar Jackson. That's why he's in the average category. Trubisky, I also think, has more potential than Darnold and Lamar Jackson. We've seen him go to the playoffs. We've seen him play pretty well in the playoffs overall. We've seen him as one of the best scramblers in the league. Josh Allen, I like, of course, huge arm, very athletic. I mean, he had like 3 100-yard rushing games in a row, and he was probably the best out of any of the rookies outside of Mayfield last year. So he's in the average category. All these 4 guys, probably the 3, Garoppolo, Trubisky, Allen, all have potential to go higher on this list. Foles is just kind of like stuck in that where I want to kind of see if he can do it outside of Philadelphia. Above average. Now, this might shock some people. Okay, I have Deshaun Watson in above average because he hasn't done it for a long period of time. He's been injured a little bit, and we've only really seen one full season where he's done it and he's been successful. That's the same with Carson Wentz. These 2 guys have the potential to be in the elite category in a couple of years from now, but we haven't seen the kind of body of work that some of the guys in the great category have. Baker Mayfield, he has tons of potential. He's very young, though. I would also say the reason he's not in the great category is because he still needs to just kind of gain experience and work on some of his decision-making. I think in some of these games this year, when it's a little bit closer, he needs to work on that. He threw a lot of interceptions at bad moments last year. Matt Stafford, he's proven that he's a very good quarterback in this league. He had his worst season of his career last year, and if he didn't, he might even be a tier higher. But regardless, I think if he has another successful season, he'll be stuck in this category at the very least, and he's proven he has the arm talent and everything. Kirk Cousins has put up multiple great seasons, so he deserves to be here, even though people, will say he's not quite great because he hasn't had the playoff success and he's not exactly clutch for some people. Dak Prescott, I think, has all the tools to be a great quarterback, but needs to work on necessarily just his passing in general, accuracy, timing, that sort of things. Hopefully his offense this year can help him out. Jared Goff, I think he's not as physically great as Dak, Deshaun, like all these guys in this category, I would say. Maybe Cousins and him are similar, but like he's not as physically good as a lot of these quarterbacks. He's just kind of a really good system quarterback, so that's why he's in the above average, not the great category. Great category. Yes, Drew Brees in the great category. He is not in the elite category. Reason being, he has lost some arm strength. He's not necessarily a deep passer anymore. When we saw last year, I mean, every single deep pass for the Saints was Taysom Hill was throwing every single deep pass. He doesn't really And I don't really think he kind of like carries the team the same way that these other elite guys do. He has a great running game. He has a good defense. He has a great offensive coordinator. So I don't think he kind of carries the team the same way that the guys in the elite category do. Then you look at Ben Roethlisberger. He's second on the list from being elite. He's one of the best quarterbacks. I mean, he's probably in the top 20-ish of all time. He's still really, really good. He still has the arm strength. He still has the accuracy. He still basically goes to the playoffs almost every season. And he's the reason why that happens. Cam Newton is the reason why the Panthers have success. When he's hurt, they don't have success. It's as simple as that. He's probably the best runner in the league. He's also a freaky athlete that just takes over games. Matt Ryan, I've grown to respect Matt Ryan's game over the past kind of year. I feel like that MVP season, a lot of it was kind of schemed up for him with Kyle Shanahan, but now his physical tools have kind of taken over, and he's become just a better pure passer and has kind of been able to carry Atlanta a little bit more, even though the team success hasn't been there. We saw it last year where this offense was really good still, even without great coordinators and all that. And Phillip Rivers, I am kind of lower on him going into this year just because I think he's losing some of his arm strength. And I think when that starts to diminish, and just being that his release is kind of, funky, I think that's going to diminish quicker than like Ben Roethlisberger, for example. That's kind of why I'm down on him. And we saw it at the end of last year against Baltimore, against New England. It wasn't quite the same. So that's why he's still great, but I don't think he's quite elite anymore. The elite category is kind of speaks for itself. I mean, we have Tom Brady, greatest of all time, still very good. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers and carries teams all the time. Patrick Mahomes is the MVP of football. Andrew Luck, to me, was the second best quarterback in football last year. Russell Wilson, I think, could be the one that people would say, hey, maybe Breeze should be above him. But I just think Russell Wilson can do things that Breeze can't do, whether that's, make plays with his feet or throw deep passes, or just at this point in his career, he can do a lot more in terms of outside of what the offense is asking him to do. So that's why Russell Wilson's an elite quarterback and not a great quarterback as opposed to Drew Brees. So that is my list, Dilly. Do you have any comments on that, bro?
I like it. It's a very solid list. A lot of good names there. A lot of good, I think, accurate descriptions there. So there's a couple I might disagree on when I get to my list here, but I liked it.
All right.
I enjoy it. All right, so we'll get you back here on a regular share. There we go. Let's see if this can work again.
Hey!
There we go, everybody. So you can see the screen, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, Dylan's doing his selection.
I'm doing my selections like straight up right now. I didn't plan it like it was last time because I think this is going to be it's a little different than
And Dilly, be pure with your selections. Don't care about what anyone else is thinking here.
You're right. You're right. So I'm going to go with the same people that Mitch didn't include, obviously. So I'm not going to rank anybody that he didn't. But we're going to go straight down the line here. All right. So Josh Allen. You guys know me. Josh Allen has been a quarterback that I have not liked coming into the draft. But I have changed my opinion a little bit. So we are going to move him to average. He has potential. He's going to be, showing his stuff. His run ability was really good last year. Wasn't expecting that. So I got to put him on here in the average category. He did impress me. So he could move up, but I'm moving him to average. Patrick Mahomes, no doubt about it. We're going to put him in the elite category. He just won the MVP. 50 touchdowns and first full season in the league. AFC Championship game appearance. One of the most talented quarterbacks in the game. No doubt about it. Got to put him in the elite. Here we go. Nick Foles. This is a quarterback.
This is a tough one.
This is a tough one. Gonna put him in here at average. Here's why. I respect what he did for the Eagles and getting them a Super Bowl. Okay, good stuff here. Really enjoyed that. But as Mitch and I were talking about him being the Jaguars quarterback of the future, I don't know how much I trust him. I don't know how much that 4-year, 88 or whatever $1 million contract was. If I don't know the money, I apologize. But I don't know if he can lead that certain team to success. And with that being said, I had to put him at the average category. Now, if he does great in his first year, starting the whole season, then I'll put him, higher in the list. But I can't do that right now.
I agree.
Lamar Jackson. I'm going to put him right here, right now, because he did not show a lot of great throwing in the last season. He did a great job running, but once defenses saw that he was just going to run like crazy, they were able to expose him pretty quickly. So he can be average by the end of the season or even above that. But right now I got to put him a little average because he did not show me he was going to throw at all last year. Garoppolo, we're going to put at average right now. I think he can obviously become better as time goes on. Oh, excuse me. We didn't get to see a whole lot of him last year as a starter. He broke his towards ACL in the third game of the year. So I'm going to put him in the average category until I see him play full season. I do agree with what you're saying with Breeze, but I'm going to put him in the elite category. I think he's earned that spot.
Oh.
I understand where you're coming from. I understand it, but I'm going to put him there because I think he is worthy of that spot. And I still think the Saints are still going to do pretty well. Now, if he diminishes into Eli Manning quarterback territory of like value, then I will put him lower on the list. But for now, he's going to be in the elite category. Case Keenum, trash. I'm sorry. He had that big contract right after the Vikings game, the Vikings season, and then proved to be a massive disappointment, and they're already moving on. So,
but also, like, that just proves how much a team helps. Like, Keenum 2 years ago would be, like, in the average category.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So, it all depends on your system, but, like, he did not prove it to me. Eli, I wish there was a below trash ranking because he'd be on that list.
Well, Giants fans think they're going 12-4, so you better not say that too loud.
They must be. I want whatever drug they're having because 12-4. Okay. Matthew Stafford, above average category here. He could be considered for great because I do really like Matthew Stafford, but last season really soured me on Matty Stafford. So in terms of the future, so I'm gonna put him in the above average. Deshaun Watson, agree with you 100%. Above average. He can be great. You saw in the rookie season he was breaking records like crazy, but I want to see him coming back coming back and leading this team, and we're kind of skeptical on what the Texans are going to do in the future here. So I'm putting him in the above average category because he does deserve that, but if he can lead them to some big success, he will be great / elite down the line. Derek Carr, trash.
Whoa!
Yep, I'm putting him in the trash category.
Interesting.
I'm sorry. He is not like that rookie season was really good, or that second season, whatever it was, when he led them to the playoffs right before he got hurt. He was having a great year. He has not proven to me since that point that he is going to be the franchise quarterback. I'm sorry. I need to see him this year do it, but right now he's in the trash category. Andrew Luck is in the great category.
Ooh, not elite.
Not elite.
What makes Breeze better than Luck?
I think that Breeze, what he brings is that like the veteran leadership and that prowess. I know like in terms of the talent level or the youth level that we have right now, I think Andrew Luck is more prominent in that. But I think the Saints are set up right now for a little bit more success just this year when it comes to.
I actually disagree. I think the Colts will be better.
I think the Colts will do a great job. I think the Colts will be one of the top three in the AFC. I think they'll win their division. But I think the Saints are in just a little bit ahead. I should say for Drew Luck, for Drew Brees. But Andrew Luck here at great. I think he's a great quarterback. He came in and busted out after his injury. I want to see him do one more year of that, and I'll put him in the elite category. Baker, above average. Got a lot of talent on him. He's very young. Obviously, just played his first season. Did a great job leading the Browns, and they put him with a lot of great people here around him. So he's going to be in the above average category. Can easily move up to great or elite. Ben Roethlisberger, great category. We talked about our Pittsburgh Steelers disappointments over the last couple of years, but Big Ben has been, in terms of talent and production, one of the best things for that team. So not the character, not the person, but the player gets the great grade. Cam Newton is going in the this is a tough one. I like the great and the above average. They're both great. I'm going to put him in the above average for one reason, his injury concerns. That really does concern me here. I think he can be a great player. When he is 100% boom, kicking it off like crazy, he is a great player. But the injury concern is too much for me right now, so I'm going to put him in the above average. And again, this one, Mitch had his list like here's the first above average guy, and then right behind him is this. This was all just one long line. So that's why I want to put people there.
I think people realize that when you're doing it off the list.
Yeah, well, no, I want people to understand that. I just want people to get that.
Okay.
Mitchell Trubisky, we're gonna lead him here. This is another one where I put him in above average or average. Honestly, I think he belongs a little bit more in this average category than he does in the above average category. He has done a good job being a leader. He has been had a good job. The Bears have had a good job of him, like giving him this team that's ready for success, and they got obviously pretty far. But I feel like he struggled in certain big moments, especially in the NFC wildcard game. And I know they kind of lost because of their kicker. But I think right now he's just in that average category at this moment. Carson Wentz.
This is where I'm very intrigued with this.
This is the one that I'm really very skeptical of putting him here. But I'm going to use the same logic as I did for Cam Newton. If your injuries are concerning me, you got to go down one spot. So if he was to play, he'd be right here. But right now, he's going right here. Yeah, I'm saying it, bro. I got to say it.
He was almost MVP like 2 years ago.
But what has he done since then, my guy?
Oh, and AC's going to yell at you.
He has good stats.
He has really good stats. But, the injury concerns are a big problem right now. And I don't know. We haven't seen enough on the field. I got to see him more on the field than anything else. So
I think my list's nicer than your list.
No, you are a little bit more nicer, I will say. But yeah, no, I like Carson Wentz.
You also have an MVP in the above average category. So, I mean, it's all good.
Hey, I'm just saying, bro. I like Carson Wentz, but I need him to be back on the field. Yeah. Jameis Winston. I'm only going to move him in a below average for one particular reason. Because Bruce Arians is the quarterback whisperer, and apparently he can fix and mold quarterbacks. He should be in the trash category, but his team is there.
Can I just say, if you don't think Jameis Winston is better right now than Eli Manning, you need to get your head checked.
Yeah, you're done. You're done. Sam Darnold, below average. I don't like this guy. I just don't see it. I think he can be a quarterback later on, and maybe the Jets can do something. But for Colin Cowherd, who, by the way, is going to be my rant of the week, for him to be putting the Jets in the AFC Championship game, get the fuck out of here.
Is he actually?
It's what he tweeted a couple months ago.
I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs.
Stop. AFC Championship game? Come on now.
No, I think he jokes about that.
Did
he say that recently?
It was right after they hired Adam Gase.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking there. All right, Blake Bortles is excluded from the list because he's not.
He would be in the.
He would be in the
unexplainable category.
Andy Dalton, below average. Just a bit higher than the trash category, but not.
You can't
enough.
say Dalton's trash, though.
No, I can't say.
Honestly, what he's done in his career, you can't say he's trash.
No, but I will say he's below average. I feel like that's a fair ranking.
At this point, I think there was a point where he might have been considered above average. I think there was a point in his career.
When they were making 4 consecutive playoffs?
No, Dalton.
Oh, Dalton. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think when he was making those 4 consecutive playoff appearances, I'd say he was in the average, above average category. Russell Wilson, no doubt about it, elite. He is a great quarterback in this league. He is leading the Seahawks team to anything at this point. Remember when I said we were going to go 5-11 last year, and he got into a playoff appearance. Not just himself, but he did a very good job in getting that team there. So I got to put him in the elite category. Marcus Mariota, below average.
I'm surprised you almost put him in the trash.
I almost put him in the trash, and I feel like he kind of should be in the trash category. But because Tennessee is always at this 9-7 level, I'm going to keep him at this below average.
I think Mariota, honestly, this is his year. It's make or break year for him this year. But if he doesn't do anything this year, you can confirm he's not very good because he has everything at his disposal to be good. There's no excuse for him.
Absolutely. A-Rod. I'm going to put in the elite category, but I really wish I could put him in the great category. I'm not going to.
How can you not put him there?
I'm not.
Stop.
Listen, A-Rod is no. Listen.
No.
A-Rod's got great talent. He is obviously probably the most talented quarterback we've ever seen in the league. That's why he's in this elite. But I've heard all these excuses about how this team cannot be, this or that. He's got no more excuses. Just like you're talking about with Mariota, excuse me. I got to say with Rodgers. He's got no more excuses. Win or shut up. Jared Goff. Going to put him it's either above average or average. I just want people to know that. I'm going to put him in this average category because
I don't hate it.
Because his coach does a lot for him, and we saw his terrible performance in the Super Bowl, so that sours me. Joe Flacco, you're too old. Trash.
I enjoyed his Super Bowl performance.
Yeah, I bet you did. I wonder why. You didn't include Fitzpatrick, did you?
No, Fitzmagic would be in the above elite category.
Ah.
Especially birthday cake.
Megastar. Trash. Josh Rosen. I was kind of high on him going into the season, his rookie year, and I know the Cardinals didn't do many favors, but I'm not very high at this moment with him, so could have put him in the trash. Did you rank Nick Mullins?
No, he's a GOAT, though.
He's a GOAT. All right. Matt Ryan, great. MVP in his books. Atlanta was really hurt last year, but he still put up really good numbers. And I'm sorry, the Steve Sarkisian offense really took him down in numbers. So now that he's gone, I think it'll help him out quite a bit. You did not book Alex Smith in here, so we got 4 more quarterbacks left.
People are sleeping on that Atlanta offense with Dirk Cotter as their offensive coordinator. That's pretty nice.
Yep, absolutely. Dak Prescott
didn't do much defensively, though. That's the concern I have with Atlanta.
I feel you. Dak Prescott, above average.
Did you almost put him in the trash category?
No. He's in the
You were like scrolling over it for like 10 seconds.
No, I was holding it because Kev was talking. No. Dak's in the above average category. Again, people were like, oh, how can you put Dak in here? Again, he gets way more hate than he does because he's a Cowboy. I'm just going to put that out there. But besides the point, if you look at what he has done in his production, he's, put up some pretty good numbers. He's been a really good leader for the Cowboys. And going forward, I mean.
Would you say right now in that category, Dak's the worst out of all those guys?
No, I wouldn't.
Who would you say is worse?
See, it's tough, right? Because I feel like Matthew Stafford's taking a step down. Like I think Matthew Stafford's still a better player right now, but I still.
Who would you rather have on your team, Matt Stafford or Dak Prescott? For this season.
Like, honestly, maybe it's just because I've been watching it for 3 seasons on my own team, but I feel like Dak really fits with our system. Like, I mean, it's built for him. So.
Yeah, that's the point.
It's tough. Like, in terms of, like, an overall talent right now, I would say Stafford, but I still appreciate what Dak has been doing for our team. So they've been, it's been a good fit. It's been a great fit. I don't know if Dak would be succeeding in many other teams, but he got the right one with the Cowboys. So I'm going to put him in this above average category and has finally got them to a playoff victory. I can't put anything but Shred. No, I'm just kidding. Elite. No doubt about it. Brady's elite. 2 more left. Kirk Cousins. Going to go in the above average category. He's got a huge contract. I am really annoyed that his contract is so damn big. But because he hasn't been like as clutch as I want him to be. But I'm going to put him in the above average. He can show me next year. Plus, he did have really great games in the 2018 season. He was just inconsistent. And finally, Phil Rivers in the great category. I do think he's going to take a step down here in 2019, but I still think he is worthy of the great candidacy. And you know what? I'm going to move.
Oh, look at this guy.
I'm going to move Luck back to the elite category.
What changed your mind? That he was just so much better than the other guys in the category?
No, I was looking at the great category, and I'm like, he's just one step better than the greats. I feel like I feel like he deserves to be in the.
What would be your top 10 then? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You got 9.
Who's your last guy there? Who would you put in the? Like, if you had to move someone up to great, even though let's say you don't.
Okay, if I had to move somebody up here, I would probably put Cam if it wasn't concerning the injuries. Again, it's all about the injury thing, but. If we were just to kind of take that out and be like, all right, 2019 optimism, I would put Cam at 10. And then a couple of these other guys, like Baker's got a really good young potential, obviously. Deshaun Watson, we talked about. Dak is near that. He's in that top 15 at least. He's close.
All right. Well, I'm just counting it right now. It appears that from elite to average, you have 21 quarterbacks. If you had to move one person down from average to below average, who would you take out of your top 20?
Ooh, if I had to take one out, that's tough. All right, we're not going to put Carson Wentz there. Not going to put Goff, Trubisky. I honestly probably Allen. I don't think Allen's a top 20 yet. I feel it's kind of messed up because I feel like he did really impress me in this season, but I would probably put him on the outliers.
So Allen would be your 21st best quarterback.
Yes.
And your 32nd is who?
Eli Manning.
All right, just want to make sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We had to get it out there. So yeah, those are our list. We'll make those.
I did a list.
You want to do a list? We got a list.
I did the list.
Come on!
Okay. Now, I'm not sure if I should just put it like this or because it's really hard to see. So maybe Dilly or Mitch, can you just move everyone down and I'll tell you where I put everybody. How's that? I think that might be.
I can do it for you, Kev.
That's fair.
Give me a sec here.
Now, I did include Mr. Bortles and Mr. Mullins in this.
Okay.
So
let me refresh. Okay. Oh, wait. That's
didn't take anybody out.
How do I?
You're going to have to move them down, I guess.
Oh, reset. Okay. Go ahead, Kev.
Okay. So we're going to start with the trash category. And I'm going to start. There is the obvious guy. So let's put Eli Manning. He is there. Obviously, right. I think that history is going to show that Eli Manning might be the most overrated quarterback in NFL history.
Thank you.
I think that the guy is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I think that I think that there's going to be a legitimate argument about that. I also have the other New York quarterback in there. Sam Darnold is also in my trash list.
Wow.
He had one game over 300 yards. He had two games over 300 yards. He had that really strong. Like people were really impressed that first Monday night, but that was mostly the defense that did a lot of that. Yeah, we'll talk a bit about the Jets a little bit later on in this podcast, and I also got Mr. Blake Bortles as trash as well.
Where's Mr. Blake? There he is.
Is that Blake? Oh, yeah. Wait. Okay, got the wrong guy there.
Good-looking guy.
Okay. There we go. Okay, so below average, I have Ryan Tannehill.
Everybody.
Yeah. I also have Jameis Winston. I also have Josh Rosen. I have Case Keenum. I have Alex Smith. I was this close to putting this guy in the trash category, but I
Who?
Marcus Mariota in the below average.
I like that. Fair.
Okay, where's Case? There he is.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota. All right.
Yeah. Ryan Fitzpatrick in the below average because there are times that he is spectacular. The man does have magic, but at times that magic turns into a curse. I have Jared Goff below average.
Wow.
Yep.
Whoa! Rams fans are going to be so angry at you, Ken.
Well, they look at what the guy did. Like, I just don't. I think when you look back at that Super Bowl, the way, and part of it was McVay, I will grant you, but I mean the way that you look at the way that Jared Goff played it, he wasn't even great in the NFC Championship. I just I don't think he's an average quarterback, and I have Joe Flacco below average. I did consider him in average, but I have him below average. Average. I have Josh Allen as average. I think I do see a lot of potential with him, but right now at this point, average. I have Matthew Stafford as average. Based on last year, I feel like he needs to a little bit more. I wonder what him and Patricia are going to be like this year. I have Andy Dalton as average. I considered below average, but ultimately I went average. I have Lamar Jackson as average. Yeah, I know his throwing wasn't great, but he was able to. They were able to adjust the system. I have Jimmy Garoppolo in average, and that's only really because of health at this point. I also have Nick Trubisky as average, and I also have Nick Mullins as average as well.
Nick
Whoa,
Mullins?
whoa! You have Nick Mullins ahead of
No
As
way.
Kev.
Nick
That
Mullins.
just speaks to how good Kyle Shanahan is. That's all I'm gonna say.
Nah, come on, Kev.
Nick Mullins is.
The one guy, even though I know his system, like his coach is heavy, they got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, not sold on Goff. Sorry, you're about. I'm
Nick
about to
Mullins is better than Jared Goff.
This video, when we make this solo, it'll have 80 dislikes because of this selection.
That's
okay.
fantastic.
I liked what I've seen of Nick Mullins. I think that Nick Mullins can be a bottom tier starter in this league.
Are you ranking CJ Beathard?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Above average. I have Nick Foles above average, and I do see your point about trusting him, but the guy seems to have found a way to galvanize his teammates. I think, and that says something. He had a great Super Bowl. He's found ways to win. That's why I have him above average. I have Deshaun Watson in above average. I want to put him in great, but my real concern with him is going to be health going forward. I think that's going to be a question. I have Baker Mayfield above average. Just a very solid quarterback. Kirk Cousins, I have above average. I know that a lot of people are not necessarily super high on his contract, but I think he's still a good quarterback. Can he get the job done? That will be the question. Average as well.
Sorry, who'd you say?
Matt Ryan, I have above average as well. I have Derek Carr above average. I know that may shock some people, but I'm going to just
Dylan had him in trash.
Whoa! Did everyone? Wait a minute. What
Hello?
happened here? Hello, I'm here.
Kev?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I was just saying Dylan had him in the trash category.
Yes. I want to point out to Dylan that this guy went 9 straight games without an interception. Once he figured out Gruden's system, he got it together. So I have him a little bit above average. I can understand. I would have him in the average above average. I don't think he's trash though.
I agree. He's not trash.
I have Carson Wentz above average. I actually did consider him for average. I don't think last year was a very good year for him. But I think overall it's hard to put this guy in a lower tier. I mean, he does have some talent. There's no question that the guy has some ability. The question with him comes down to health and proof.
Kev, can I ask a question?
Now, yes.
Sorry, my computer just died, so maybe I missed this point. You have Derek Carr in above average?
That's what I said.
He went,
even though I think he's closer to above average than he is trash, Dylan. I'm saying that.
What, above average?
He went 8 straight games without an interception. 9 straight games, sorry, without an interception. He had over 250 once, twice, 3, close to 250. He 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Half of his season, he went over 250 yards. 4 games, half of his season is over 70% as a pass as a percentage completion. It's hard to put him in trash when you look at his actual stats last year. It's really hard to make an argument that he's trash. You can make an argument of average, but I think he's a little bit above average.
Okay. All right. I'll let you do you.
All right. Now we're in the great category. I have Drew Brees as great. I was really close to putting him in elite, but ultimately I have him. I think I think he's taken a little bit of a step back, so I have him as great. I have Philip Rivers.
Sorry, who'd you say?
Breeze.
Drew Brees.
Oh, okay.
I have Philip Rivers also in great. Part of me wants. I love watching Philip Rivers play. He's a lot of fun, no question about it. But he just quite isn't there. I have Cam Newton in great as well. He's gotten to a Super Bowl and a few years ago. And when he's healthy, he is as dynamic as they come. They got to keep him healthy, though. I have Dak Prescott in great.
Yay!
Wow!
I came away from
Dak Prescott is better than Matt Ryan.
Yes, he is.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
One has an MVP and one doesn't.
Yeah. But I came away this year from this playoff after that Rams game saying, I think that Dak is a guy that can lead the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. I think I
don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that means he's great.
Okay. I almost, to be honest with you, I almost put this guy in a lead. I was this close, but I had Ben Roethlisberger in great. But I do think he's really close to elite. If you guys put him in elite, I wouldn't have been surprised. Elite, I have obviously Patrick Mahomes. I have Aaron Rodgers, although I don't think he had the greatest of years last year. I have Aaron Rodgers there. I have Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, and Andrew Luck in elite.
Any comments on those guys? Or just simple?
Pretty simple. I mean,
I just love the Nick Mullins pick.
This one, it bothers me. like at least with others, I'm like, all right, I at least can see the reason. I just can't see this reasoning. I cannot put my head to it, man. But
also, Sam Darnold trash was kind of shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Goff at below average was definitely bold. Like, Goff doesn't fit in with the rest of these guys.
It doesn't.
Okay, well.
That's just me.
Yeah, it's just... and of course, people are going to be... I know the whole video. Dak, how is he in the great? Like, I just know that's going to happen. But, I'll take it as a Cowboys fan. But I did enjoy that list. Thank you, Kev.
You're welcome.
So there you go. All three of our lists. Comment below who you thought had the best list or who you thought had the... most favorable list, the most accurate list. There you go. So definitely. That was a good list. Now, Mitch will say him, of course. Yeah. All right. So that is the first segment. That was a long segment, but it was a good one. We're going to talk into some of the more bigger headlines before we get into our final segment, which is ranking the Monday Night Football matchup. So you don't want to miss that. We're going to talk about the Jets firing their general manager right after their draft. Yes, in a very weird and unexpected move, they fired Mike McGannon. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
But now you messed me up.
Mike McCannon.
McCagnick. I think it's something like that.
Mr. Mike.
I can't pronounce his name now because Dylan said it so wrong.
It was close enough. Mike
McCagnon.
McCagnon. Thank you.
McCagnon. All right, McCagnon. Mike McCagnon. Gone. He's been erased from Jets history.
McCagnon.
McCagnon. All right.
Yes.
Mike McCagnon has been fired as the Jets general manager. There we go. And now Adam Gase is the interim general manager until they find somebody else. My personal opinion about this is that this kind of comes at a very weird time. Either you fire him right at the start of offseason or you keep him going. You don't fire him after the draft when he just drafted Quinnen Williams. They've got this they got Le'Veon Bell signed because of him. They did a pretty good job in the offseason and starting in free agency and the draft. And then you're like, nah, let's just get rid of him. Like, he's not worth it anymore. Apparently him and Gase clashed from the start, which I guess would have had to happen in March, which, excuse me, would have been after maybe some of the signing or the start of some of these signings, but a very weird decision to do this right now. I'm curious what you guys have to say. I'm going to go with Kev first. Kev, what do you think about this firing? Is it the right time? Was it the right move? Was it questionable because the Jets are going in a positive, at least a little bit of a positive direction? Why? What do you think?
I don't. Where are the Jets going positive? Really, the hiring of Adam Gase was not a good hire.
I agree. I'm not a big fan of that.
I think you look back at I know that I have Sam Darnold as trash, and some may not like it, but you look back at that trade that they made with the Colts. That really helped the Colts a lot. That didn't help the Jets in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, sure, they got Le'Veon Bell.
They got a quarterback. What are you talking about?
Yeah, where are the Colts and where are the Jets?
Well, the Colts had a quarterback.
Yeah, but in terms of what
you just put them in the elite category. Why would they go out there and pick Sam Darnold?
No, but I'm not saying that you don't. I'm not saying that.
It was a great move from the Colts, but it was also a necessary move from the Jets because they needed to get a quarterback. Maybe they picked the wrong quarterback, but that's the guy that they felt.
Okay,
that's
good. Okay. So there again, you're proving my point there. I just think that there were
proving your point by what?
I think there's just too many mistakes for the Jets to keep this guy on. And I don't necessarily think that right now, I know that is it unconventional. I think it's a little unconventional. But what does a GM really, there's not a lot that GM has to do the next little bit. There is stuff to do, but it's not like the big time. And I think if you've seen what this guy can do, and there were tons of questions about who and how they were going to draft, there was very clearly him and Adam Gase were not on the same page about what they were going to draft, especially about around Quinton Williams and some other guys. If you don't believe that this is the guy that's going to take you somewhere, why have him sitting as a lame duck GM till the end of the year? If you don't believe in him, move on from him and find someone else that can do the job. So I don't necessarily have a problem with the timing of this, and I don't even think that the Jets are necessarily wrong in this one. Their draft history is terrible. I mean, they traded a Darren Lee, a high draft pick, for a 6th round pick here. I mean, which is kind of average for
that was Adam Gase's move, though.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, but that's another. But you make that move because you know that this is a guy that's a 1st round expectation. This is another guy that they drafted and did not do very well. So I don't think however you want to pronounce his name, I don't think he proved himself in any way that he was competent as a Jets GM. So I'm not necessarily thinking that this is a bad move by the Jets.
I don't think it's a bad move, but I think it's
incredibly.
It's strange. It's strange to me because of all the moves he made this offseason. Usually when a team or a GM goes out and he signs CJ Mosley, he signs Le'Veon Bell, he brings in Kelechi Osemele, he signs Jamison Crowder, he has his 2nd season with Sam Darnold, you say, okay, we're going to give him a couple more years to see this plan kind of unfold. Mm-hmm. And that's the surprising thing. Not necessarily that he's been great or bad, because I don't think he's been very good. I'll say that much. But I don't know if Adam Gase is going to be any better. I don't know. I know he's the interim GM. He's not necessarily the GM, but who knows, right? So, but the thing is, the period of time where they fired him, I don't think it's a bad idea. I actually think this is the correct time to fire a GM, because that is actually the year cycle in the NFL is from the after the draft until the next year's draft. The year actually ends with the draft, because think about it, when you're going throughout the season, you're scouting those players for the draft. So that's ending the year cycle. The year cycle doesn't end at the Super Bowl, it ends at the draft. So for a GM at least, and their job. So I understand when they fired him and why they fired him, because he wasn't doing a good job previous, but I don't really understand it because at the same time they brought in all these pieces, and usually you let it happen and see if it works first.
They spent a lot of money though on Bell and Mosley specifically. I mean, you can make an argument they overpaid for Mosley. You could probably make the argument they overpaid for Bell, but that's a bit understandable, but still a questionable move. So, yeah.
I just find this to be like the weirdest of times. Like you put in all this effort and energy to be like, all right, we're starting this new regime. Here we go. We're gonna get all these different free agents, and a lot of people wanted to come. Don't forget they almost had Anthony Barr before he decided to move off again. So you had C.J. Mosley, one of the best, if not the best, in the game. You've got Le'Veon Bell, who's got all this great talent, and you put that in terms of what your general manager has done for your team. And then just to say, a few weeks later, nah, you're gone. Here comes an Adam Gase. Like, either do it before or do it after. That's just my opinion. I don't know how successful they would have been if Adam Gase was the GM throughout the start of this process, or if they had hired somebody right after the Super Bowl and then they would have had this. Like, would they have gotten those players? I don't really know, but just seems like incredibly weird timing to me, and not the best strategy. Like, I'm not saying he did a very good job, as we've discussed. He didn't do a great job before this draft, but I think he helped himself out by giving them all these players. And then it's like, nah, we'll pull the plug on it. Not a fan. Not a fan.
Well, I think one of the names that is interesting that is coming up is the name Daniel Jeremiah from the NFL Network. As he's one of the names that being considered, and maybe it's an interesting idea if that's him, but it's also an interesting idea because this is also where, if you're a believer that the draft is where you're building your championship teams, and it's pretty much is, you want to, and people are starting. Daniel Jeremiah impressed a lot of people. And if you believe that he's the guy, do you want to get a head start on trying to talk to him before everyone else does? It's an unusual move a little bit, maybe, but I don't know. But if you have a guy in mind, you probably want to get a head start on him.
Well, I've heard a couple of names out there. I don't know how solidified they are on them, but
no, but
I just it just seems like I'm okay with them firing him. Like it's fine with me. He didn't do that great, but he was still, first of all, improving from what he just did in this offseason, and then just to throw him out the door right after the draft, kind of weird, kind of strange to me. But yeah, those are our thoughts about that. Let's look at Patrick Peterson. I know Mitch made his solo video about it last night. Go check that out. Of course, he's released a couple of other videos. Darren Lee, which for some reason these players that aren't very hyped up get great views on certain videos. Shout out to
I think I'm gonna make a Shane Ray video. I don't know yet.
Ooh, Shane Ray, who did sign to Baltimore. By the way, shout out to the OG Cameron Meredith for starting that trend. I don't understand why. I will never understand. But yeah, Patrick,
I'm gonna get a Cam Meredith jersey
just for him. You're like, hey, bro, you know what you did for me? I mean, a really positive impact. Yeah, so we got Patrick Peterson suspended 6 games for PEDs. It seemed like it was coming, but still a little bit shocking. He was 8 games and then went down to 6 games. This incredibly hurts the Cardinals defense, who coming into the year are still very, very young. I believe one of the youngest teams in the league. New head coach, defense is changing up a little bit, but you wanted to have your cornerstone, your man that's been in the Pro Bowl for 8 consecutive seasons, I believe, 7 or 8 of them, all in a row. So that's pretty crazy. And now he probably won't be making his first Pro Bowl because of missing 6 games. We've heard what Mitch has said in that video, but Kev, what do you think about this? I think it's a big loss for 6 games. I know the Cardinals aren't really big contenders this year. They're probably still a bottom 5 team, nearing a bottom 5 team. But what is the thoughts on Patrick Peterson being out 6 games?
Well, I think his time in Arizona was probably coming to an end anyway. This is a guy that's quite likely is probably going to be traded at the trade deadline. I don't think him and the organization were necessarily on the same page. I don't know if it's, and because of that, I don't know how big of a deal this is. Is he an elite cornerback? Of course he is. He's a top ranked cornerback. I just don't know if his time in Arizona. I just feel his time in Arizona was going to be up anyway. There were reports about the negotiation of the contract that he wanted to be paid the same for 10 games, the same as 16, and sort of this is being looked on in some ways. Actually, the suspension may actually be a benefit for him because he's off for 6 games. Yeah, he's losing money, but he's not necessarily playing in an organization he doesn't want to play, and he has an opportunity to be traded to a contender. So this might turn out to be an advantage for him.
Does this lower his trade value, though, because he doesn't get to play these 6 games, and now he has to deal with the suspension? Does it lower it a little bit?
I don't think so. I think that teams will still pay a pretty good value for him, because especially if you're a team like Kansas City. I think you're still going to pay a good value for him.
I think a second.
At least, yeah. Definitely. I don't think he's going to be,
especially if you're like Kansas City, like Kev said.
Yeah, their secondaries didn't get any better in the offseason.
And you're trying to win the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, they're trying to make this push. Besides the Tyrann Mathieu signing, they didn't get any corners. So you got Rashad Breeland. Congratulations. So yeah, getting a guy like Patrick Peterson would definitely help. Mitch, give your quick recap of what you said in the video.
My quick thoughts. Go check out the video that I made on this topic. Go Gronk spike it. Subscribe if you haven't already. But no, just the one thing I didn't touch on was just the trade possibility. Everything else I talked about. So go check out the video if you haven't already. But the trade possibility is definitely there. And I think it's even more realistic now that because he has the suspension, he's probably not as... Obviously, Arizona already wanted to trade him because I think Patrick Peterson was the one that was holding it back and didn't want to be traded. Arizona wanted to trade him, I think, for the last 2 years. And now they actually have a reason to be like, okay, yeah, this guy, he wasn't pulling in the full commitment, whatever. Like, this is going to be his first time ever missing a game in a season.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
yeah. Yeah, and that's to me is another reason why his trade value isn't hurt, because he's healthy, right? So he doesn't miss games. This is a guy that you will want.
Yeah. So overall, he's going to go. I think hopefully he gets traded at the deadline because that'd be very exciting for wherever he goes. Mm-hmm. But overall, I just think if you're a Cardinals fan out there, big Patrick Peterson fan, I went through a similar thing last year with Edelman. And you're kind of going to think about the guy a little bit differently at first, but, they're going to prove to you that they're still the same player without the juice, with the juice. And like people saying like he was on the juice before, like, no, obviously not. He would have been caught the last 6, 8, 7 years if he was on the juice before. He wasn't.
Guys, everything is peach.
My question is why, though, because he never got hurt. Like usually guys that get hurt take it. Mm-hmm. But...
Well, first off, everything's fine in Julian Edelman land because he won the Super Bowl MVP. But second, yeah, it is kind of strange. Like, if anything else, you'd be like, oh, I'm addicted to this because I have back problems or whatever the case may be. We've seen a lot more with wrestlers than anything else. But like,
maybe he's concerned he's losing a couple milliseconds off the 40. I don't know.
Milliseconds. I don't know. I wish he would come out there and tell us, but it is really weird. You guys mentioned the Chiefs as probably the biggest team out there to get Patrick Peterson. Are there any other teams you guys that can think of that can come in here for the Patrick Peterson sweepstakes?
I think the Pats will be in on that. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will be in on that.
I was going to say the Steelers.
I think those 3 are the ones.
Eagles?
That are popping.
Ooh, that would be... Not personally as a Cowboys fan, but that would definitely be an interest level. I could see that.
I could.
49ers should be.
Yeah, I think whether he's traded to the NFC or not, that's I guess one thing. But yeah, I could see Eagles, 49ers. But the top 3 in my mind are going to be KC, Pittsburgh, and New England.
All right. How do you
Pittsburgh and KC would be my top 2.
Not that New England is like in need of Patrick Peterson, but you could almost make the argument that they could take him away from someone else. That wouldn't hurt either, right?
Okay. Well, no, why not? We'll take Patrick Peterson. We'll have Patrick Peterson and Stephon Gilmore. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Oh God, stop! There's too many cornerbacks. They already have so much talent at that position. Like if there's anything they don't need, it is that position right there.
Oh, we'll take him. Good idea, Kev. All right, continue.
Not a good idea. Please, no. Okay, so we have 2 more segments before we get into our big grand. Well, actually, we have 2 more segments, then our Monday Night Football, then the rant of the week. So you don't want to miss that out. Let's get to the comments real quick. We have a bunch of reactions to our list, so we're going to read those. If you have any other questions,
I'll just leave them for Kev.
if you guys want to ask any questions right now, you can ask them right now. We'll go over it at this point in the video. So a lot of people, first off, before anything else, are questioning the Dak great pick from Kevo above anything else. They're like, hey, how can he be great? I will say, as a Cowboys fan, that people will just put him lower down because he's a Cowboy. It's just a stereotype. They will never give him that credit. Now, great, I didn't even put him in the great. I put him in the above average category. So, Kev, any comment? You're standing by that great pick there?
Yeah, and here is the thing about what I guess that people look when people are looking at quarterbacks. It's how part of the thing. Quarterback is the most. It's the toughest position to play in professional sports. Period. I don't think that there's any other way. And I would, as tough as it is to say, I would argue that the toughest position, the toughest place to play quarterback would probably be Dallas, just because of the fan base and the pressure and all of that. So to me, one of the things that I look at when a quarterback is great is not necessarily only the ability, but it's the ability to lead. And I see Dak as this guy that has the willingness and the courage that it takes to win. He hasn't missed games. He's healthy. It's very rare that he gets blown out. He uses his receivers really well. And look, he uses his feet well. He uses his arm well. And I think in the playoffs, to me, Dak was underappreciated how well he played against Seattle. And, I think in a lot of ways he kept them in the Rams game as well. I think that this is a guy that I think is starting to take charge of the team, which is, I think, a very key thing here. And I think that the team around him is starting to believe in Dak. That's why I have him at great, because I think from what I'm seeing in the playoffs, this is a guy that I think has taken that next step. And I have right now in my power rankings in the NFC, and I understand that today is May, the middle of May, I have Dallas as my number one team. And that, to me, it's between the Cowboys and the Eagles, and I have the Cowboys edge because I can trust Dak. I don't know if I can trust Carson Wentz.
All right.
Kevil's running himself off the screen. Look at this.
There you go. I enjoyed the gimmick. I like that. No, okay. I agree. I like a lot of those points.
I'm not looking at the comments, but I'm sensing that people are like, "What the hell?"
Oh my God! Have you read the Nick Mullins ones?
The Nick Mullins are even worse.
They're the best.
Whatever.
I'm gonna let it slide on that though. It's kind of funny. Let's see here. Comments about whether the Jets are gonna do anything. About whether they can beat these teams. Jaguars schedule as well. These are all before we ask the questions. I just want people to know. Miami Dolphins are done. Not D-O-N-E, D-U-N-E, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it should be scheduled. Or that's how it should be spelled. How many?
By the way, for those that are angry about Nick Mullins, and this is his late average. Versus Denver, 20 for 33, 332 yards, 2 touchdowns. Beat Seattle, 20 for 29, 275 yards, a touchdown. Losses to Chicago and LA, but still 282 against the Rams. Lost 48-32. The Bears game wasn't great. He had that Thursday night football game. He threw for 260 and 3 touchdowns against the Raiders. Kept himself in a game against the Giants. I'm looking at his numbers. They're not terrible. Like, you can sit and mock Nick Mullins all you want, but his numbers are not terrible.
I don't think it's more of the issue. I think more of the issue is that you have a quarterback in Nick Mullins who came in as the third stringer for the 49ers over the quarterback that made it to the Super Bowl this year. Like out of anything else, I think that's the biggest cause for like.
Okay, that's fair, but I'm not sold on Jared Goff. I think if Jared Goff was not with Sean McVay, I don't know if Jared Goff is in a Super Bowl.
I don't know if he's in a Super Bowl, but again, I think this is more the case of what we have with Nick Mullins versus Jared Goff over anything else.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
You know, Jared Goff's the number 1 pick overall, and I did Mullins get drafted? I'm not saying that's in terms of like, but you know, like people obviously had him a little higher. That's just where I think a lot of the fans are coming here with the.
That's fair.
Let's see. Nick Foles bust or playoffs? Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to make it one or the other. It's not like you know.
No.
You either make the playoffs or you don't. That's.
So he's a bust if he doesn't make the playoffs.
It's a bust of a contract. That's this is what Bob Money.
Maybe a bust of a contract, but I don't know if that means that Nick Foles is at fault.
No. Well, it depends on how he plays. I don't know. He's saying the Jags are going to go 4-12, which is very harsh, but
I don't know about that.
AFC South is going to be a very tough competition. Like it's going to be a very good race.
Yep.
All 4 teams can make the playoffs.
Yep.
They're not allowed to, but they all have a chance to make.
I agree.
I would agree with Mitch though. It's not one or the other.
All right, fair enough. This is a hot take episode, says Predator. Yeah, we're all coming here. We got to shoot our shots sometimes. We got to be shooting like cowboys. You know, do what you want.
Cowboys.
It wasn't even supposed to end like that, but I appreciate it. Ultra says Philly may have the best roster in the NFL. I believe Mitch said that on one.
I've said that.
There you go. Agreed there. And then Ultra says, who is Foles going to throw to in terms of the Jaguars team?
Look at their depth chart, bro.
Bro, he can throw it like Blake Bortles did off his own offensive lineman's helmet, but then this time he can catch it instead of it being intercepted.
I think the thing that people don't realize with the Jaguars receivers is you try being a receiver for Blake Bortles, and let's see how far you get. Can we just give him a chance with someone that is not Blake Bortles?
Trevor, I think, has a good point. They don't have any top receivers, but they have a bunch of serviceable guys. You know,
I would say that as well. But you never know. One of these serviceable guys could break out and become a good receiver.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, hell, D.D. Westbrook said he was going to go off for 250 in his first game. I mean, if he has that quality, holy shit.
They have 5 guys that you would say would be NFL decent receivers. They have Marquise Lee, D.D. Westbrook, DJ Chark, Chris Connolly, Keelan Cole.
Yeah.
Yep.
5 guys.
And if they get Fournette, if Fournette is healthy, that changes everything as well. Although, and I guess the question is going to be what John DeFilippo does with the running game. But,
no Telvin Smith is going to hurt.
Yes. Yeah. I'm more concerned about their defense than their offense, to be honest with you.
I am definitely not, but
I mean, they're like they need their defense to win, but like without Telvin Smith there, that create.
Do you mean like you're worried that they won't dominate?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I mean, I don't have high expectations of their offense, but I'm not saying that their offense is better than their defense.
That's where I'm coming from with the Jaguars as well. It's like if they're going to make the playoffs, their defense needs to be dominant, and I don't know if they can be.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Best team in each division, says Saucy J. Well, this is May, so it is a little bit different than what we could get to.
I could do this right now.
Yeah, let's do this right now.
I can do this now too.
Let's pull
Patriots.
The Dolphins. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so AFC.
Okay, let's go by each division.
Yeah, we'll all name it at the same time. Okay, so AFC East, Patriots. Okay, AFC North.
Browns,
right? Kev, you on that train?
I'm not on the Browns train yet. I'm actually on the Ravens train.
Wow,
Ravens.
Oh, the guy that put him at 3-13 2 seasons is now.
We're gonna hang this over his head for the rest of his life.
I need the Browns to prove that they're as good as they're saying that they are. So I'm hesitant about the Browns.
See, this is interesting because a lot of people were down on the Ravens, like at least one or two games compared to what it is, including Mitch himself. in the Browns, they got probably, if not the most talented roster in the game, one of the most talented, especially on offense. That's quite interesting. So you want to see them back it up. That's basically.
I just want to see him back it up. That's all.
All right. Very Rams approach 2018 version. AFC South.
Colts.
Houston's a close second, but Colts.
I don't
AFC
think Houston is as close as a second as people think.
Okay. All right. AFC West. Chargers.
I would say Chargers.
I'm going to say Chiefs, though. The Chargers are very close.
I'm going to go Chargers.
It's either or.
Yeah, it's definitely
Raiders.
It's definitely not those boys. It's definitely not Denver.
I'm going to say
Raiders.
KC by 0.1 right now.
By 0.1. It will make their division matchups a lot more interesting, which we'll talk about later. NFC East. Now, we have two teams.
Eagles.
I have the Cowboys right now.
Can I stay neutral? No, I can't.
No.
Talent-wise, Eagles. In terms of what
does that even mean?
You're gonna let me explain? You just can't. What does that mean? I think
talent-wise, Eagles. End the discussion.
No, I think the Eagles are, but it's always, this division's always very wonky. First of all, the Cowboys haven't been repeating as champions like in 2 decades. Like, we have never been able to do back-to-back championships. I think since 2004, we haven't had a back-to-back NFC East winner. So that's always a very big outlier as to what these teams can do. And plus, the Cowboys are really good at home, but they're trash away. They really need to fix that up. So, I don't know. It's about equal, but I'll put the Eagles just a little bit ahead right now. NFC North, Bears.
I don't know.
I think.
I don't know. I guess so. I'm intrigued. I know that a lot of people are not enamored with the Lions, but I'm interested. I'm not saying the Lions are the best team in the division, but I'm intrigued what the Lions are going to do.
Mitch?
I said Bears.
Okay.
Not by a lot, the Bears.
Here's the thing. You know, when we do our, predictions in August where we have our records, I feel like the Lions one's always correct. You know what I mean? As many hate comments as we got last year, we were right on the money.
Very on the Lions.
Very on the money on there. So whatever grade we get them this year, maybe just exactly what they get. I don't know what that's going to be like, but I think at this moment it's got to be the Bears. NFC South. Now, this is an intriguing one because there are a couple of teams at play here. You could obviously say Saints, and I'm going to go with the Saints. But I feel like Carolina and Atlanta are really coming up, especially Atlanta with their offense, especially 100% healthy. Kev, what do you got?
I still have the Saints because I'm not trusting what the Falcons have done defensively. So I'm still sticking with the Saints.
Okay. Mitch?
I have the Saints right now, but I can easily switch.
You could easily switch to the Falcons? I can?
Yeah.
All right. I dig it. It's the same thing here. It's very close. And finally,
I also want to see where Cam's at.
Yep, yeah, that is true. And finally, the NFC West. Kev will go ahead and say the 49ers because of his Nick Mullins pick, but I will not do so. I will pick the Rams. I don't think there's much competition. Like, the 49ers are going to be interesting in this because they obviously have their quarterback this year. And the Seahawks, I don't know. They're such a weird team to me. What do you guys have here?
I have the Rams.
49ers.
Ooh, going bold. 49ers. You're on the bandwagon. You're on the train.
49ers to the bowl.
Whoa. Maybe Pro Bowl. Maybe a couple guys. I don't know. We'll see.
Bowl.
Wow, that's a loaded one. That's interesting. There's a hot take, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Nick Mullins next Tony Romo. Get out of here. Stop it. Romo's a legend.
Hey, he went to the same school as Brett Favre.
Went to the same. Ooh, now that would be.
Brett Favre always calls him.
Yeah.
You don't know these stories?
But guys, Brett Favre's not a top 10 quarterback.
Do you know it was did you know this was the year it was this week that he retired the first time?
Really?
Yep.
How many times did he retire? 3?
4.
4? Holy shit.
I know he retired twice in the same year.
Well, the original, the Jets, the Vikings. There was a fourth one. Can't remember. There was a fourth one.
Well, he retired twice in 2 years, and then he retired after the Jets, and then he retired after the Vikings.
Oh, okay.
So that's far.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, it's kind of sad. Somebody has to retire 4 times. Let's see. Chris Conley's a big pickup for the Jags. I don't know about big, but it is a good pickup. Derek Kent with his Chargers are the most overrated team in the NFL. Comment.
He says that every video.
I know, but playoff-wise, what are they giving me?
What are the Cowboys giving me?
Everything. The future. Let's see. Trevor Kinney gave us his number 2.
What have the Bears given me?
Double doink. Trevor Kinney has given us his number 2, which I think is also interesting in each division. He's got the Bills at number 2, which I like.
I agree.
Steelers in the
I
AFC
agree.
North. Jags in the AFC South.
You got the Browns third now.
Yeah. Well, no.
I think
that's the Browns. Wait. Well, you have the Browns third?
I have the Browns third right now. Yep.
Kev.
They got to prove it.
Kev,
They got to prove it.
Kev, I know this is a hot take episode, but like.
No, listen. No, but like they have to. To me, I understand where you guys are coming from. I'm sure that they're very talented. I'm not disputing their talent.
You're sure they're talented. They are talented. Kev, do not mean.
Do the Browns play the Seahawks this year?
Yes, they do.
What week?
Oh, we need a.
Let me find out.
That's a stream.
That's a stream. No doubt about it.
That's a stream.
Especially if it's not week one.
I'm not like. Look, I understand. Like, I understand the love for the Browns. I'm not like OBJ was a great pickup. They've got like some offense. I'm not disputing that, but the Ravens and the Steelers have controlled the NFC North for a long time, and so it's hard for me to sit there and say that the Steelers are like DUNE. They still have Ben. They still have a pretty good offense. I think that they've improved defensively. I don't know. I think the Steelers are going to be better than people think.
Well,
I agree.
Mitch has got them at 10-6 as a last note. So
I
don't think he's lower on the Steelers. I just think he's higher on the Browns.
Yeah.
It could.
And I'm lower on the Bengals and Ravens, so it balances it out.
I'm low on the Bengals.
Very low. Personally. Okay. You're getting all of you want, guys. This is the podcast. Here we go.
AFC South.
Oh yeah. Oh, we still got a couple more. Chiefs in the AFC South or in the AFC West.
We didn't do the AFC South.
I would have the Chargers a second for the West.
Oh, I would have Chiefs.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Jags, AFC South.
You have the Jags?
That's what Trevor has. I don't have them.
I am.
I'm kind of leaning towards the Titans, which may be a little bit of a ridiculous, but I don't like that.
Like
the Texans.
I know what you're saying. I think the Titans are better than the Texans, but the Texans have a way better quarterback.
That's the problem.
That's why I got to put that Texans. I think is a 2 at this moment. Jags are just really concerning me at 3.
I have the Texans, but it's like by 1 win.
Yeah.
Or even tied.
It's close.
But they'll get in because of the tiebreaker.
All right, NFC East. Trevor has the Cowboys. I'm assuming both of you guys have Cowboys as well.
Yeah.
Well, I have the Cowboys 1, so I
have
the Giants. They're going 12-4.
So the first team is going 13-3.
Yeah.
What a squad this NFC East is giving. I sure.
Cowboys are going 11-5.
All right. And
Redskins are going 0-16. I'm just kidding.
So it evens out. It all evens out, guys.
No, Redskins will be above the Giants. I have no doubt.
Absolutely. I'd put money on it.
That I have no doubt on.
In the NFC North, the Vikings is Trevor's number 2.
Packers.
I assume that's where you were going. I'm going to put Packers, but I need to see Matt LaFleur coach this team, as I've said about 15 times on this podcast.
Well, we have to make predictions before the season starts. So
that's true. That's going to be difficult.
As of right now, Vikings, but I could see me changing to Packers.
Okay.
What?
What?
John Clayton says he could absolutely see the Jets trading Le'Veon before the start of the season.
Why? What's the
That's
point?
hilarious.
That's got to be false. That's got to be fake news. There's no way that's true. Why?
No, who would even take him though with that contract? And what would you get for him?
This has to be now a reason why this Gase and Mike situation has been such a big, they didn't agree on this contract. If that's the case, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but goddamn. Okay, that's interesting news. Thank you for that. Trevor says if Cam is healthy, Panthers in the NFC South, but if not, Falcons.
I would probably agree. I would agree with that.
I have Falcons right now. As much as I would like it to be the Panthers.
Especially if you'd love it to be the Panthers.
Yeah, I like the Panthers.
And finally, for the NFC West, the 49ers at the second place, not the Seahawks. What do you guys?
I have the Rams right now.
I have the Seahawks right now.
And I have the 49ers. So there you go. All different teams. I like it. All right.
The Rams, the only reason is because they're coaching.
Because they're coaching.
I'm not sure if they're making the playoffs yet.
The Rams?
Yeah.
We'll see. I still get them.
I don't think they'll epically fail though, because they have too good of coaching to epically fail.
I still think they'll make the playoffs. Now, where they're going to be at, we'll talk about that, on a future date. But stay tuned for that. All right. And one last thing, Bret Hart, we will never put you over. I will not. Maybe this guy will, but I will not. All right. 2 more segments left here, and then we'll be out for the day. We're going to rank every Monday Night Football game. This is also its own separate video. What do you? It's
going to be a long one.
It's going to be a long one. I want to get this out a little bit quicker than we did our Sunday night one. So, just a quick little synopsis or analysis for each one, guys. We do have a couple of games to talk about here. I believe it's 16 or 17? 17 games to talk about. So we'll do this quickly. We'll go myself, then Kev, then Mitch. And then we'll keep
main
going.
event. All right.
Main event.
Go ahead, boys.
All right. So we'll start from worst and go to the best. My worst game for Monday Night Football in 2019 is the Miami Dolphins versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2 reasons. 1, the Miami Dolphins, I think, are the least talented team in football. And second, you guys remember in 2007 when this game happened and it was 3-0? It was the worst game ever made. I know that's way down the line, but that is team history and that's Monday Night Football history, baby. I also just don't think these teams really clash in a good matchup, and I think it's going to be pretty damn boring. And plus, it could be a blowout. So, Dolphins Steelers, worst game of Monday Night Football 2019. Kev, what do you have at number 17? Your worst Monday Night Football game of the year?
I would agree with you. Actually, there was a couple of options, but I'm going to go with Dolphins Steelers.
All right. Any particular reason? You just don't like the matchup?
I just don't think the Dolphins are going to be very good this year. So I don't know what we're going to be expecting from the Pittsburgh Steelers, so that's why. But there are a couple of other candidates there.
Absolutely. There are a couple of really bad games. Just want to point this out. Sunday Night Football had a lot of really great games. And this year, Monday Night Football's first half, probably 9-17, or not very good. Mitch, what do you have as your worst game of 2019 Monday Night Football?
Week 8, Dolphins at Steelers.
There we go. Full agreement. Anything to add?
What you guys said.
All right, that's fair. I mean,
it's my birthday too. That's
boo that game. Get that game out of here. We'll change it up, buddy. We'll find a week 8 game for you. All right, number 16 for me, the second worst game on the schedule. Bengals versus Steelers at number 16. Sometimes these happen where you just get back-to-back teams, but it's not really because of the Steelers. It's because I'm really low on the Bengals. I know sometimes this rivalry game goes into, here's a slugfest and who's gonna fight in that really crazy game a couple years ago. Well, now Burfict is gone. He does not play for the Bengals, so the biggest antagonizer of the whole thing is not going to be there. And I just don't like the Bengals. They're not entertaining. There's one of those teams that I just can't get into. So number 16, Bengals and Steelers. Kev, number 16.
I have week 1 matchup number 2, the Broncos and the Raiders. I think that will be I think it has the potential to be. It could be good, but I don't think that these two teams are going to be very good, and I don't think that this is going to be an enjoyable football game. So I have that one as my second worst.
All right, fair enough.
I have the Week 14 New York Giants at Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Giants will be absolutely horrendous by this point, meaning that this is in Philadelphia. It'd probably be like 30-6, something like that. So,
ooh, sheesh. Okay, so we all went a little bit different at number 16, but for number 15, you'll be hearing the exact same game as Mitch. So my number 15 is the Giants versus the Eagles. I do not like this game. The only reason there's anything good on the line is because it's a divisional matchup. Maybe they can create something there. But in Philadelphia, remember the Thursday night game? That sucked. It's kind of like what I think is going to be here. So, and I don't think Giants are going to be very good. Maybe Saquon performance, if he goes off, could be a better game. But otherwise, no. Kev, number 15.
Yeah, I'm going to go with yours there, the Week 14 Giants-Eagles. I mean, I think for the Eagles part, I think they'll be playing in a playoff spot, but we could be watching the Daniel Jones era, maybe. That could be the only interesting thing.
Yeah, that's true. Mitch, number 15?
Week 3, Bears at Redskins. I just don't see any attractive part of this. I mean, it's probably going to be a defensive football game, very low scoring. It's still early in the season, so there's still some hype for it, but I don't expect the Redskins to be bad, but not good enough to be exciting, while the Bears are kind of finding their way throughout the season.
What week is that again? I forgot.
Week 3.
Okay. Maybe some hype for Haskins if he starts the season,
Yeah.
Teams aren't going to be off to that bad of a start. Even you can only go 0-2 going into week 3. So, yeah, we'll see. That game was coming up on my list. But at number 14, might be surprising, Vikings versus Seahawks at number 14.
Whoa!
Yeah, number 14. First of all, they played last year. It was a terrible watch. It was a bad game. You guys live streamed it, so that was nice.
Very fun.
There's some good commentary there. I enjoyed that, but otherwise, I did not enjoy that game. Russell Wilson's interception was one of the 5 worst interceptions I've seen in this decade. Not really, but it kind of was his fault. But anyways, I just don't think these two teams clash in great styles. They've always had really low-scoring affairs for the most part, or kind of blowout situations. And I just don't think it makes for great television or great football. I just don't think these teams clash that well. So that's my number 14. Kev.
I have the Week 4 matchup, Bears, Washington. I just the only thing that's potentially exciting to me is Dwayne Haskins, but this will be a low-scoring game. I'm not expecting the Bears to be super awesome offensively this year either, so I think that's another part of it.
All right, that's fair. That is fair. Number 14, Mitch.
Week 4, Bengals at Steelers. I think that's week 4. I know Kev all said that last matchup was week 4. I think this is week 4. Could be week 3.
No, yours is week 5.
Week 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I have them messed up.
No, wait. No, sorry. You're right. No, week 3 is Bears, Redskins.
Okay.
Week 4, Bengals, Steelers.
Sorry. Anyways, Bengals I don't think will be that great, but overall there's still a rivalry here, so that's why I moved it a little bit higher than a couple of you other guys. I just think there's still like the AFC North battle, that it's going to be a physical game at the very least. There's new coaching, though. There's no Vontaze Burfict, so it kind of takes away the fire. At least Andy Dalton should still be healthy in this game, so that's positive.
Hopefully. Maybe there's something there. Okay, I enjoy that. Number 13, Bears and Redskins. You guys have mentioned this before. I'm not a big fan of this matchup. I don't think these clash of styles are going to work very well for primetime television. And the really only intrigue is for me to see Dwayne Haskins in a primetime performance if he's going to be there week 3. If not, it's going to be even worse. So, that's number 13 for me. Kev, 13.
13 is the October 21st game between the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. I understand that it is a rivalry game, but the Jets are not going to be a good football team, and the Patriots don't.
Mine's higher too. Mine is very good.
But this will also be the Patriots get it going in the second half. So I just don't think that this is going to be a great football game. So I have that one 5th on my list. 5th worst on my list.
That is interesting. I've got that higher, and Mitch said he's got it higher. All right, 13, Mitch.
The Cowboys at the Giants, week number 9.
Fair.
Giants suck. Cowboys should be good. And it's week number 9, so we're not quite in Daniel Jones territory. We're like, okay, Eli's last couple games here. So, yeah.
That's fair. I've only got a couple of high spots higher for obvious reasons. Number 12, Broncos Raiders. I'm a little higher than Kev is, and apparently Mitch might be at the same or even higher. I've had this list, or I have this here because we get to see Antonio Brown play. We get to see this new Raiders system with all this hype around them. Can they do something with all the free agents? And just a little bit better than their Christmas Eve matchup that meant absolutely nothing. So if that's a positive, there's a positive. So yeah, that's at my number 12 spot. Kev, what you got at number 12?
I think that this will probably be a bit more of an intense game. I think Zach Taylor is going to try to do some innovative things and be bold, but ultimately the Pittsburgh Steelers will be blowing out the Bengals, I think, on September 30th, but I have that as my number 12.
All right, fair enough. Not a very high game for all of us. Mitch, what do you have at number 12?
My number 12 is week number 1, Broncos at Raiders. Antonio Brown, I think, versus Chris Harris, that'll be fun. John Gruden, week number 1, it's going to be hyped up like crazy. It's just going to be fun. It's in Oakland. I think this is like a very underrated game because it's still week 1. We don't know how good any team is going to be in the league. Mm-hmm. So with all the hype surrounding the Raiders and all the new faces on the Broncos, I think it makes for an underrated game.
Absolutely. All right, number 11. Seahawks versus the 49ers here. I am still very suspicious of what the Seahawks are going to do. And again, I just don't know if this game is going to play out well. I think it could be an interesting matchup again because of the division that they're in. I think 3 of those 4 teams have at least a little bit of interest in winning that division. I don't know about the Cardinals. But I think that these two could provide a good matchup. I just want to see it. And again, Jimmy G not playing last year. We need to see what he does this year. Haven't seen that yet. So it's going to be a little bit lower on the list. So number 11, Seahawks at 49ers. Kev, number 11.
I got the Cowboys and the Giants. Cowboys are not always the best on the road. The Giants are not going to be a fun team to watch. So I have that as number 11.
Absolutely fair critiques on both sides.
At number 11, I have week number 12, Ravens at Rams. Not super high on the Ravens.
Oh. Wow.
I'm not super high on the Ravens. I don't really think the Rams are that fun this year, to be honest. I've seen that offense do their thing, and I've seen them get shut down as well. Nothing really new with the Rams. Like, they're basically the same team. And they've lost a couple of pieces, if anything. Ravens, I think, I don't know. It's just not exciting. I don't see the excitement in this matchup. Like, can you tell me the excitement? I guess we'll wait for you guys to go. I don't see it.
It's gonna be tough, man. I like it a little bit more. I have it a couple.
It's not a rivalry either. So
no, it's definitely not a rivalry. Well, I just have it. I was just kind of shocked that it was here, number 11. Okay.
I think there's actually some good games on Monday night from what I see.
I think in a couple of spots, like probably 8th, is where we're going to start to see some really good games. But at number 10, I have Cowboys versus Giants. The only reason it was probably higher than both of these guys is because I'm a Cowboys fan. And I like seeing us beat the Giants twice a year. So, yeah, number 10 for me. Kev, what do you have here at number 10?
I have I'm going to go I'm going to ultimately go with the Browns and the Jets week 2. Because I just don't think the Jets are going to be a good football team. I think people are going to be interested in the Browns. And this might be a blowout game for the Browns, so this may be an opportunity for them to make a statement. But it's not on the just considering the other games in there. It's not on the top of the list. This is going to be the opportunity to everyone to see how good the Cleveland Browns, if the Cleveland Browns can step up in prime time. This will be the big question. So,
all right. Mitch, what do you got at number 10?
At number 10, I have the Vikings at the Seahawks, week number 13.
There it is.
Like you said, it was kind of boring last year. It's basically the same game. I think it's going to be Defensive again. I think both offenses will be struggling a little bit. Both of these teams could be in playoff contention, so that's somewhat interesting. But to me, overall, I just don't see the rivalry. I don't see the excitement. I don't see the big plays. I just see it as a kind of grinded out football game.
Fair enough. Fair enough. At number 9 for me, I have the Patriots versus the Jets. I think this will be an interesting football game, to say the least. For some reason, when we get Monday Night Football games, I feel like the Patriots just don't have the best matchups. You know what I mean? Like, I want more.
They never do.
Like, what was it, Bills last year? That was terrible. But that was 2018 Bills. They're better this year. I'm excited for the Bills. But the Jets are one of those teams that I think can do well. It's just a very, put it together situation. I think their new free agents are going to create for a little bit of excitement, but ultimately, unless if you're in Miami, I think Brady will get the job done on the road. So, I'm going to go with Patriots and Jets here at number 9. Kev, your number 9, which is a white background at this moment.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry about that. I'm not used to using the iPhone here. I've got the Lions and the Packers Canadian Thanksgiving night as my number 9. As I said, I'm not sure where the Lions are at. So I'm kind of a little bit intrigued by that, but I'm also not really sure where I'm at with the Packers either. I know that we have Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford should make it interesting, but I'm not sure if these are two good teams or if these are two good quarterbacks, but I have it as number 9.
All right, fair enough, and I'll talk about that. I think this is where we're starting to get to our point where we can like these games. Like, I think these are going to be a little bit exciting games. Mitch, at number 9, what do you have?
Week 6, Lions at Packers. And this was a really underrated game last year. The Lions took it to the Packers last year. So this is going to be a good game. I think the Lions will be better than people expect, especially early in the season. I think the Packers are going to be really good. It's in Lambeau. Aaron Rodgers versus Matt Stafford. There's potential for a lot of big plays in this game. And a new coaching matchup with Patricia versus LaFleur. So that's interesting.
Oh, nice. By the way, I do want to point this out. This is completely irrelevant, but it's kind of to your point here. I realized that the last 3 NFC coaches in the Super Bowl have all been second-year coaches, and there's only 3 in the NFC.
Who?
Matt Patricia, Matt Nagy, and Pat Shurmur. Okay, the Giants ain't making it. So the Bears and the Lions. You never know. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I found out.
Wait, the last 3. So McVay,
Dan. It was the Falcons. I can't think of his name.
Oh, Dan Quinn.
And then
Peterson. Yeah.
So
that's true.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm just saying that's more to the Lions' point than anything else. But okay, at number 9, at number 8 is the game you guys been talking about, Lions and Packers. Underrated game last year, as Mitch said. And these teams have a little bit of intrigue, but like in the question marks, and that's why I think this is going to be a good game. Plus, it's a division matchup. I know it's in Lambeau, and the Lions almost never win in Lambeau, but I still think that this could be a competitive matchup to see, maybe this could take something in the NFC North in terms of playoffs, or, are these two teams going to have a good back and forth matchup? I think it'll be a good game. And the Packers matchup against the 49ers was surprisingly really good last year, even though it shouldn't have been. They should have won a lot easier, but I think they did well last year. I think they'll do good this year. Kev, your number 8 selection.
My number 8 selection is a game on October 7th, and it's the Cleveland Browns versus the San Francisco 49ers. I think this will be a very high-scoring game, and I think that there's going to be a lot of interest in there. And I think this is an opportunity for both organizations to generate more fans. And I think that both teams have the potential to get off to a good start anyway. So it'll be a key game, I think, early season.
You are not invested in the Browns right now. Number 8. That's interesting. You're not on the train, is what I'm saying. Mitch, number 8.
Week 16 Packers Vikings.
Oh.
I think this game could be for a playoff spot. But I also feel like I've seen this game a lot. So that's what it kind of takes away from the flair of it. But Cousins on prime time in Minnesota, a lot of pressure on him here if they're in a playoff position.
Huge.
Week number 16.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little 1 or 2 spots higher than mine, or lower than mine, I should say. But we'll talk about that in a second. At number 7, I have Ravens versus Rams. I am interested to see what the Ravens can do this year. Like, I don't really know what to think about it. I did just put Lamar Jackson in the below average category, but he still is an interesting talent that we're going to see here on prime time. Can they step up? Defense, they lost a lot of key players, but did add a couple. Earl Thomas is a big example. So are they going to be this team that we can expect? And the Rams, a little bit of skepticism their way as well. But I think it's an interesting clash of two styles is why I have it here at number 7 more than anything else. So, yeah, Ravens, Rams at number 7. Kev, what do you got?
Well, I think that one of the things that is going to happen here now is there's going to be a couple of games that I'm just going to personally enjoy more because of the teams involved.
Yeah.
But I have number 7, Texans Saints, the first game of the year, which I think both of you will have a little bit higher. But I also think actually you look at the top half of Monday Night Football, it's actually, at first glance, I didn't like it, but at second glance, there's some really potentially interesting games here. And this Texans Saints game has a potential to be a barn burner shootout for both sides. I think the Texans will come in having a lot to prove. So will the Saints, which I think will make it a good game. And you guys will probably have it higher because you're not interested in certain Seahawk games, and I have some Seahawk games that I'm more interested in. So that's why, for my personal preference, I have Texans Saints. But I will understand from a non-objective point of view why you will have that higher.
Hey, this is why we take our own personal list. So I understand. I understand. All right, number 7. What you got?
Week number 10. Hawks at Niners. I think this is going to be a great game, potentially. I think it potentially could be high scoring. Weather's going to be very nice in San Francisco. Russell Wilson versus Jimmy G, hopefully, is on the field.
Hopefully.
Two, young coach versus old coach. I think there's going to be kind of that chip on the shoulder from the Seahawks perspective, kind of people counting them out for potentially a down year in week 10, where they'll probably be sitting at like a decent position where they could make the playoffs, they could not, while the 49ers, I feel like, could be in a potentially pretty good spot at this point in the season where the Seahawks might be like, we need to come in here and show them who's boss. So I think that'll be a good game, week number 10.
All right. I can see the entry. I definitely can see it. At number 6, I got the Packers and the Vikings, week 16. I put this higher, a couple of spots higher because of the fact that this has playoff implications. These two teams usually put on good performances. If you guys remember week 2 last year, the 29-29 overtime scandal, if you will, the tie. I thought that was a very entertaining game, one of the best games of the year. And, their Sunday Night Football game, their rematch was not very good. It wasn't very exciting. But if we get that week 2 matchup in a big spot like this, I think it could be a good amount of fun. So that's why I got here at number 6. Kev, what do you got?
I've got the Seahawks and the 49ers here. I just don't have the 49ers as high up as Mitch does. That's part of the reason here, and I think that there's a couple of games a little bit more later on in the year that I think are going to be more important. That's partially why, but I do think it is going to be a good game.
Like the dancing there. Number 6, Mitch.
Week 2. Sam Darnold is going to host Baker Mayfield. That's it.
That's it? That's the explanation? All right, well, we'll give you a little more explanation because we're in the top 5, and at number 5, I've got the Browns versus Jets as well.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 incredible young teams. Baker Mayfield, let's see him in the spotlight, baby. I'm really excited to see that so early in the season as well. Sam Darnold, can he step it up? Because there's a lot of critics out there. Kev, there's a lot of critics out there that are wanting to see what he can do on a big spotlight. And I think this
trash.
Not kidding. I think he, I put him in the below average category. So, maybe I want to see a little bit more. I want to see what he can do. And I think both of these teams, they gave us a pretty interesting Thursday night battle in week 3 last year. And those teams were significantly worse, I think, than what we're going to get here. So that's at number 5. Kev, what do you got at the start of your top 5?
Started my top five. I think the way that things are going to go here is this is going to be a true battle for a final playoff spot. And it is the December 23rd game between the Packers and the Vikings. I think you're right. I agree, Mitch. It's a game that we've seen a lot. But I do think because this is the end of the year and because I do think that the Packers and Vikings are going to be battling for a playoff spot, I think that is why I have it a little bit higher up. Because I do think it's going to be more of a significant matchup.
Fair. I try and take that a little bit away. I don't necessarily put everything on like when it is in the season because Aaron Rodgers could be hurt again. So you never know.
That's true. But I'm going with what I'm kind of like the significance of it.
Okay, at number 5, I have my Patriots at the New York Jets because this is the best AFC East rivalry when it is going and when it is strong. I feel like week number 7, I think the Jets will be relevant enough for people to be excited about this game. It's in New York. I think this is a game where potentially the Patriots could lose. They do typically lose one divisional game a year, and it is in New York. It is on Monday night. That's hard to go into somewhere on Monday night and win. Especially against a team that's going to be absolutely jacked up. Adam Gase has been hyping this game up. Basically, he's been saying since day one, first day he was hired, we need to beat the Patriots.
It's the Fisher method.
Rex Ryan basically 2.0. So he's just bringing it in here. A lot of talent the Jets have now, so they're a little bit more like interesting and compelling from Le'Veon Bell if he's not traded to CJ Mosley, Jamal Adams, all those guys, and of course Sam Darnold. And, of course, the Patriots. So that's why it's at number 5.
At number 4 for me is the Browns versus the 49ers. I think this could be very high scoring. I think, again, 2 young quarterbacks, Jimmy G, let's hope he's healthy, can play this game. And I'm sorry we're ragging on him too much, but that's just the nature of the beast when you have that situation. But, 2 teams that I'm liking going into the season, the Browns are very high on. The 49ers, I think, have a good chance to make the playoffs. So these 2 teams clashing on Monday Night Football, I mean, it's going to be good entertainment. When you get down to these kind of last games, it's like, all right, are we going to get a back and forth matchup? I don't want any blowouts in my top 5 area, and I don't think this is going to be one of them. So, Browns Niners number 4. Ken, what do you got at number 4?
See, I don't mind low-scoring games. I quite enjoy them. And I like the whole – and sometimes I like when there's a physical matchup facing a pure offensive team. And that's why I have the Ravens and the Rams a little bit higher than you guys.
Yeah, I don't think the Ravens are going to be good, so that's just why I don't have it high.
I'm higher on the Ravens than you are right now. And I think that this is one of those games that if the Rams are going to win the NFC West, and if they're going to be what they think they are, they got to prove it against a very tough physical team. So I'm interested. Maybe there's a part of me interested in that because of the jersey I support as well. I think that has a lot to do with that too. And I think Earl Thomas on Baltimore, I'm interested to see what he does with the Rams. So I have that a little bit higher on.
At number 4, I have week number 1, Houston Texans at New Orleans Saints. I think this can be shootout. It's in New Orleans. Great place to play. Week number 1, hype for Monday Night Football. It's a huge game. Deshaun Watson versus Drew Brees. It's just exciting and high scoring and a great place to play, and 2 teams coming into this season with expectations.
Fair enough, which is why at my number 3, I have the Texans and the Saints. You're starting off week 1. You want to have an exciting back and forth matchup. I think this is the one. You brought up that this is in the Saints' home. This is going to be definitely a hot crowd for this game. So I definitely want to see that to start. And I think this is going to be a good quarterback battle. I know we have our questions about whether Drew Brees can still throw the deep ball or anything like that. But in week 1, let's see what he can do out there. So Texans Saints at number 3 for me. Okay, what do you got at number 3?
I've got number 3. I've got the one that you guys did not like, and I will admit it was not a great game, but the Vikings and the Seahawks.
Wow.
I think will be that game might be a battle for who can finish first in their division because you've got the Ravens and the Rams. I think I have the Vikings and the Seahawks as in the number 2, so they'll at least be competing for wild card. I think it'll have playoff implications. As I said, I don't mind the smash mouth football part of this, so I'm looking forward to that. But I have that at number 3.
Okay. All right. Very, very Seahawks pick. I can definitely see that one there. It just doesn't interest me. Number 3, Mitch, what do you got?
Week number 5, the Cleveland Browns head to San Francisco for the future of respective conferences game.
Respective conference.
Yeah. The 2023 Super Bowl preview.
Yes.
Yes. There you
2019 Super Bowl.
Oh, this is not going to go too far. Now, it looks like we all have the same number 1 and number 2, which is a good positive. I think that is nice.
I'm interested to see which one's number 1 or which one's number 2.
Let's see where we go. So at number 2 for me is the Colts and the Saints. I believe this is week 15. I don't know which week.
Week 15.
Okay, week 15. So it's an end of the year. Could have some playoff implications. First off, I mean, a Super Bowl rematch. I know it's a decade before, but that's just a nice little.
Come on. It's not.
Second, it can prove the Mitch factor of who's the better quarterback, Breeze or Luck. But third, the most important reason for me is that these are 2 really good teams. The Colts are one of the teams that are rising up in the AFC. They got a lot of potential. Andrew Luck had a fantastic year, and I think he's going to have another really solid year here in 2019. So then you go up against the Saints. What they were able to do last year, are they going to be as high scoring? I don't think so, but I still think this will be a big shootout between 2 really good teams that have some good leadership on them and some great young talent as well. I think the Colts defense is really sneaky this year, so we'll see how that goes. But I really like this matchup, especially towards the end of the year. You need a little bit more hype as those last couple weeks go in. So Saints and Colts at number 2. What do you got, Kev? Is it this one?
I'm also going with the Colts and Saints here. I think this is going to be a fun game. 2 Super Bowl contenders, 2 potential Super Bowl contenders, 2 great quarterbacks in New Orleans. It's just going to be loud and crazy and a lot of fun.
Ditto.
Same thing?
Yes. Ditto.
All right, so the same points there. So at number 1, let's all talk about this at the same time. The Chiefs and the Chargers here at number 1.
In Kevil's favorite stadium.
The StubHub Arena. Kev, do you know the number off chance, or can you search that up for me?
Oh, yeah. Well, we got to. It's actually not the StubHub Arena anymore, by the way. Just an update on that. But this it is now called the Dignity Health Sports Park.
That might be even worse. That's probably that's worse.
Yeah, but same address. But really, just look back at what happened in that Thursday night football game in Kansas City between Rivers and Mahomes. The 2-point convert at the end. These are 2 teams that I think all 3 of us have in the top 2 in the AFC West. These are 2 teams that we were considering for Super Bowl last year. 2 fun quarterbacks. It's really hard to say that this is not the best Monday Night Football matchup. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it'll be high scoring, and I think it's why a lot of people watch football. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
I do want to point out that I just realized, I just searched this up now. This is the Mexico game. This is the Mexico City game. So we will not have to deal with whatever freaking.
Well, remember though that the Kansas City Rams game was also supposed to be in Mexico City, and it did not turn out that way.
Let's hope that if they announced it again, that they actually fixed it. I'm hoping that since they announced it, they gave enough trust. Let's hope for that. But definitely agree. Their Thursday night game was a classic. It was a back and forth matchup. Chargers came back with a great comeback, and then the Chiefs decided not to play defensive 2-point conversion. It had everything you would possibly want. And I think this game is the exact same role this time around. Big implications in their own division, 2 Super Bowl contenders, if you will. And, again, really good teams with really great players. I mean, there's not much more I could say. There's just a lot of fun action in a great divisional matchup. Mitch.
And it started last year. I don't think at the beginning of last year we'd have this number 1, but really this rivalry has started from the 2 games last year. The first game of the season last year, and then the later one, which was epic on Thursday night, I believe. So just builds up the absolute hype for this game.
There you go. That is our rankings of every Monday Night Football game. You guys are watching this solo. If you're watching the solo vid, smash the like button. Comment below your favorite.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
Quick question. Are we happy with the Monday night commentary team?
No, we already discussed that.
I haven't had a chance to talk about it.
Okay.
But,
go ahead and talk about it right now because we hate it.
I don't mind Booger McFarland. I don't mind. I think it may be better without Jason Witten. But I don't think that they were my worst announcing team last year. I just don't think that they had any chemistry. But I hope Tessitore and McFarland have better chemistry. But it's not. It's not a great lineup there. I think that's very unfortunate.
The only chemistry below them was AC and Kevil.
Yeah,
the beef. But like Kev, you would think with all the NFL talent that they have on ESPN, they would go sign somebody for a color commentator like Booger McFarland of all people to step into the role.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it to me is I don't think that Tessitore is a great play-by-play guy, and I think he's better at boxing than football. I think that's part of the reason why I don't think anyone for a guy like Tony Romo, he fits so well. The part of it, and Romo is great. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's because of what Jim Nantz allows Tony Romo to do, and I just don't think that Tessitore is in that Jim Nantz, Joe Buck.
I don't even think you have to debate that.
But that's probably why you're not getting a stronger commentator with you're not getting a Matt Hasselbeck. You're not getting a Peyton Manning because they don't see a good fit there with Tessitore.
They see that Booger's a good fit with him? Did they listen to the commentary last year? Like, I know he was doing sideline and wasn't talking as much, but now you're going to put him in the spotlight.
Yeah, I know, but like if you don't get anybody, you need a commentator, and if you don't have people that want to work with Tessitore, what do? Right?
You're saying that these people don't want to work with them, or is that like?
I don't think that there's. I think like a guy like Peyton. I mean, there's probably a number of reasons why Peyton Manning doesn't want to do it, but I think it's easier to be a new color commentator when you have a Jim Nantz sitting beside you than there is with a guy that doesn't have as much experience.
But I mean, this is just such a like anybody, like not even Peyton Manning. Okay, I can understand why Peyton Manning probably doesn't want to do it. But you're telling me a guy like Matt Hasselbeck, or there's a ton of people on their NFL Live show on ESPN or all that stuff. You're telling me one guy doesn't want to do it?
Not a guy that I think thinks that they can fit well with Tessitore. No.
I mean, Monday Night Football is a big it's a big spot. It's a big role. It's probably going to make more money than what they're doing on NFL Live.
Well, the other hand of that, though, too, is the way, Jason Witten was not great. I mean, we all agreed on that. But the social media abuse that he took, if you're not good, if you're not good, you're going to get a lot of heat for that, though, too. So
I agree to a certain extent, but also Jason Witten just made so many inaccurate statements last year. He said Eric Ebron was Patrick Mahomes' favorite target. In what world does that make any sense? So as long as I think you know your football knowledge, I think you'll be fine. I just not digging it, man. I think there's better options. And by the way, I don't want to be that guy that thinks, oh, we're never back to the good old days. But even 5 years ago, when John Gruden and Mike Tirico were the commentary team, they had great chemistry together. That was a great back and forth duo. They had a lot of fun. 10 years ago, when Al Michaels was there, or maybe a little bit longer now, but when he was Monday Night Football, it's going down. Sunday Night Football is the big thing. So
yeah, I agree. Maybe this might be the year next. At the end of this year, we will probably see some major changes, but they had to go with what they got.
Man, they need to get it done quickly. They really need to get it done quickly. Because
maybe it'll be Dilly Vanilli and Mitch Milani.
Yes, you're not the only person that has said that over the last couple of days. Because man, I don't know if I can listen to them. If anything else, I don't know if I could sit through, and I'll enjoy the game, no doubt about it. But I don't know if I can go through and be like, all right, here we go. Not digging it. All right. So we got one last segment here today, and we will be done for the episode. I'm trying to get to a certain point. Here we go. Okay, so it's my rant of the week. I wasn't able to get to one in episode 3 because we had so much to talk about, and we did talk about a lot in this episode. But I have a very special rant here. It's for Colin Cowherd. Okay, you guys know who Colin Cowherd is. Did I just call him a coward? Sorry, Colin Cowherd. You guys know who he is. He's a sports commentator. He talks a lot about, obviously, football and basketball are his biggest things, and he has a lot of questionable and very controversial topics. Now, before anybody goes into me saying, this is his character, I know it's his character. But a guy like Stephen A. Smith is really entertaining and really fun to watch, even if he's not like the most statistically proven guy. Like that Chiefs-Chargers preview he gave last year was awful. But he also gives me the stay off the damn weed and all of his yells about the Knicks not getting the number 1 pick. He's at least entertaining. Cowherd is a prick. Okay, so what I'm going to special rant here for is very, very specific instance. So a couple of days ago, Colin Cowherd went on his show and made a top 10 OBJ memorable moments list. He talked about the biggest things that OBJ has done in his career over the past, 4 years as a football player. Now, Kev, when you think of, or Mitch as well, I don't see him on the screen, but when you think of OBJ, what's some of the first things you think of, right? Like, you think probably the catch, right? That's one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
The fact that he's one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in the game. You can think of a little bit of his antics, okay, understandable, but you
could think of his celebrations. He doesn't really have antics. Like his antics are like on-field antics.
Right. But at most, you could think, some people are very hot-heavy on what OBJ brings to the table. But at the end of the day, a lot of people would say that he's a great football player. Well, on Colin Cowherd's list, he decides to basically put every single antic that has ever been produced on the field as OBJ's most memorable moments. Not any of his big games, not the fact that he helps the Giants team or did help the Giants team in such a big way.
He's got you in the palm of his hand, Dilly. You're falling right into his trap. You're talking about him right now. He's a genius. He's got you, bro.
He's not a genius. He's not good at his job. He is not good at what he does. His moments include when he did the celebration of peeing into the end zone, fighting with Josh Norman, meltdown in the tunnel, commercial with Eli. Commercial with Eli is the 7th most memorable moment. Paris hotel room, which I think he destroyed. I don't remember. Proposing to the net, fighting with the net, the boat, which was the whole team, traded to the Browns. Just being him traded was the 2nd most memorable moment of his career. And then the catch. He's a farce. He's not good at his job. He's not entertaining. Again, when I look at other guys that are not as great of commentators at the analytics, I like some entertainment. So Stephen A. Smith, way better guy.
I disagree on that point. I think he is entertaining.
I totally disagree.
I don't think he'd be as popular as he is if he wasn't entertaining. And if he didn't, you might disagree with his opinion, but he has excellent delivery. He is very good in terms of delivery and what he says and how he says it.
He's very articulate with what he says.
Yeah,
he's good words with what he says. I'll give him that. But he's not an entertaining piece to me, personally. I think a lot of people would agree. I don't know the consensus here, but I don't think a lot of people like Colin Cowherd. And overall, he's just not judging the player himself. He's judging him based off his on-field antics. And Baker has gone on him many times. I find it to be hilarious and one of the best things I see on Twitter. So
I think he's trolling.
I think Baker's getting into it with him now. I think he was starting off as a troll, like when he went on his episode, when he went on the show.
No, I think Cowherd's trolling everyone.
Cowherd is a troll, but he's one of those ones that's what a heel does.
He knows it's good for business, though. That's the thing.
He's on Fox Sports. Who watches his show?
It's the same thing. I think he's just a better version of Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman tries to be Colin Cowherd.
Max Kellerman is terrible, too. He's almost even worse. But, just
Max Kellerman says things, but doesn't, actually say them in an entertaining fashion, so he just looks like an idiot. While Cowherd will say ridiculous things, but people will find it entertaining. That's the difference for me.
I don't find it entertaining. I think he's a prick. And I do not see the entertainment value as some other people in the sports community that I don't think are that great at speaking words either. Like I just think there's better talent out there. And the reason that he's trying to critique OBJ's career, like if anything else, he's just trying to get people, into that. It's stupid.
But what's the job of the commentator though? Is to get people to pay attention. I mean, people pay attention to Steve Smith because not like he'll have some, but because he's entertaining, because he has a certain way of delivering. That's what Colin Cowherd is doing as well. I feel like Colin Cowherd's doing his job, and I think do I find him as entertaining as Stephen A. Smith? No, but I actually think generally I will probably take a Cowherd take on football over Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, for sure,
100% of the time. Like Stephen A. Smith, I'll take an opinion on basketball over Colin Cowherd. But I think Cowherd I find him to be a pretty intelligent guy, but he's going, like, part of the job of the commentator is to provoke.
He provokes something. I don't like him.
Anger. That's exactly. He's like John Cena up there.
Yeah.
John Cena doesn't provide anger for me. I enjoy him.
Well, a lot of people hate him. Some people love him. That's the thing. That's when you're a commentator, you got to do.
I don't think he's very good at what he does.
Like, Durkant hates me. That's why he watches.
Well, because he lost.
People are mad at me about Nick Mullins.
Exactly.
Right? People.
No, but you actually believe that Nick Mullins is better than Jared Goff. I don't think there's a trick around that. That's my rant of the week. I don't think
but that's like, you have to believe that. Like, you can't fake.
No, you believe it. You believe that Nick Mullins is better than Jared Goff. I completely disagree on it, but I mean,
that's fine.
What's the belt there? What kind of belt?
This is our the team I coach. We give out this belt after every game to the best player or like the MVP of the game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a nice design. I dig it. A little championship belt there. But yeah, that's my rant of the week. I can't stand Colin Cowherd. I think he's one of the worst in the business. All right, so that is the end of episode 4. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was a long one. We had a lot of things to discuss. You'll see some solo videos in the next couple of days from this podcast. So if you weren't able to watch this, or if you're watching it on replay and you just want to go watch one topic, you can watch those 2 big ones that we discussed in the video. Kev, you got anything to plug before we head out?
Yeah, Saturday's hockey podcast will be this week. We're going to talk about the Memorial Cup and why no one is watching it. We're also going to be talking about officiating again for some unknown reason. And we'll be probably talking about the Canucks. And we're also going to have Cam Robinson on and do another NHL draft preview with him, as he has a new number 1. So we'll be hearing from him on that. Those are out every Saturday.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Mitch, what do you got to plug?
I don't really have anything at the moment other than just go check out a video I spent like more than a week on making. So go check out the Dan Marino, why Dan Marino's 1984 season is the greatest of all time. Go check that out. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever made. So go support it. So hopefully I can do more of them. Other than that, I'm just going to keep grinding away. I don't really have any. I have ideas, but I don't really have anything like on the forefront of my mind that I really want to do at the moment. So
there you go. Check it out. It's one of my favorite videos I've watched on this channel personally. So it was
cool.
Good. Yeah, you guys, I just finished my last class today. So summer break is here. 3.5 months of being out of school. So you guys are going to see obviously more podcasts. You're going to see a couple more solo videos that I'll put more time into now that I have the freedom to do so. And of course, you'll see us on other stuff as well. But subscribe. We are almost at the big goal. I will not say what the big goal is, but we are almost to that point. So if you can get us faster to that point, we really do appreciate that. So that's going to do it for us. For Kev and Mitch, it's Dylan with The Bottom Line View. Peace out, guys.